Kohler, welcome to In the Shop. Today I've got Phyll Havens with me. Phil, it's a pleasure to have you in the shop today.
Pleasure to be here.
Would you give us a little bit of your background and tell us what possessed you to build this beautiful little twin Scotty engine?
Well, I haven't built an engine for quite a while, but the club thought they would build some of Elmer's engines and started with the Scotty, so I thought, well, I can do that. And then one cylinder just didn't seem to get it, so I kind of ad-libbed a little bit there and added another cylinder.
Okay. So as we look at this, you can see how small this is. This is based off of Elmer's Scotty, a Scotch yoke engine. And you can, Phil made it a twin piston. Absolutely ingenious. Pistons are, and they're probably a little hard to see, but they're nylon. Man after my own heart, made them out of plastic. I like to use engineered plastic whenever I can. Looking at the air intake system, having a little standalone feature, so you don't just have a pipe hanging out there, is kind of ingenious in my opinion. What all is this made out of, Phil? How did you come up with two cylinders?
Well, it kind of follows. If you get rid of the other end where it held the end of the connecting rod, then you're left with floating around. So you just have to have another cylinder to centralize it. And once I did that, then I had to kind of figure out how to make it work, because it was only made to run with one cylinder. So it only took the air from the air inlet and put it into the port to the cylinder at one point around the shaft. So it had to be made so that it could put it out at 2 points around the shaft, or whenever a port presented itself. So that's where I came up with a little bit of a change to the crankshaft, which has the valves on it. I guess that's the way to put it.
Yeah.
Most of this is stainless. These are all stainless out here, stainless rod, and stainless crank, and the Scotch yoke. And it's got a brass piece on the inside. I don't know if you can see it there, but the brass piece that for the wear block, I guess I'd call it, and some brass pieces. And the rest of it's aluminum, the cylinders and the frame.
You didn't bore through your cylinders and cap them. How did you do the bore on your cylinders? Did you just punch out with an end mill, or what did you do?
Put those in the mill and run a reamer down in there.
Just ran a reamer down in them?
I made them slightly longer so it didn't run out of
stroke and hit the head.
But they're both identical. They just come from one side or the other. So I set one setup, I had both of them made. The wheel is a little light. It's just an aluminum flywheel, but
Oh, the twin cylinder, all you need the flywheel for really is to start the engine, right? Because you're either one's pushing and one's getting ready to push, so you really don't need a lot of flywheel on a twin like this, do you, Phil?
that's what I kind of figured. I guess it works because it turns and it runs, but it could possibly be better with a little more engineering, I guess. I think his timing is a little bit off, but no, that's for the second one or something.
You're going to build more of these, are you?
I might make a 4-cylinder, run smoother.
Oh my! Now, will that be a 4-cylinder in a cross, or will it be two banks, or how? What are you thinking?
No, I'll probably make them just like opposed from each other, just like this. It'll just have to be more complicated cylinders, I think, but we'll find out.
Okay. Do you exhaust from one cylinder to feed the other, or do they feed independently off the crank?
They're both independent.
Both independent. You don't scavenge off one to feed the other.
No, when the valve's in front of the port to this cylinder is putting air in, and it turns around and comes over here and puts air into this one. And while it's doing that, the exhaust port is presented to this one, and as soon as it goes around, same thing happens again.
All right, so we know it takes air in here through the crank to the cylinder. Where does it exhaust from?
Yeah, well, this is like Elmer designed it. And I don't know if it shows up in there. When you go far enough, there's a hole in the end of the crankshaft, and the exhaust goes out through the crankshaft.
That's kind of neat. Now, if somebody did this, could they exhaust out of the back side of this crank if they wanted?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay. I didn't know if there was a specific reason that it had to come out of this end versus the other end.
Yeah, I don't either, because then when it comes out there, you have to put these little notches in here to make sure that it's never completely sealed off.
Okay.
So this one's got those notches. And it also blows oil everywhere that direction. Well, if you oil it, it goes that way.
Self-lubricating.
Yeah.
Like I said, one of the nifty things here is his little arrangement of how to get the air into it with a tube to one of these self-locking, I don't know what they're called, but they're a self-locking air valve, to a little threaded valve that he hooks up you can screw a hose onto for an airbrush, as opposed to trying to get a big 1/4-inch fitting and whatnot. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, I had this little tiny barb here from something else. So I utilized that in there, a little barb fitting. And I had that hose and stuff, and I said, well, it looks like it can work.
It's a beautiful, beautiful execution of a design. That is absolutely nice. You can see how small it is. I've got some video of this running now. I'll put some more at the end. Phil runs this off of an airbrush compressor, and it's just a little noisy to be able to hear us talk while filming and have that compressor run. So I will shoot some more video of this, and it's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful little model, Phil.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, you brought another one with you. You brought another one with you that apparently has a steam chest down that transfers it. What have you got going on here, Phil? What's this one?
Well, my son was into trains when he was a certain age, and we went everywhere looking at trains and around here, and then we went as far away as the hairpin turn over. What the heck? You know where that is? Or, I can't think what town that's close to, but
What state is it in?
Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania.
Anyway, we went as far as the hairpin turn, which the engine we have here in town, 765, went around that turn shortly after we were there. Not while we were there, but it went around there. It has been around that
Okay.
turn. And this turn is up in the mountains where it's pretty sharp. They usually have to put a bunch of extra engines on there to push the load up, and then it squeals all the way around because it's too sharp of a turn.
Okay.
But anyway, he was in a train, so we watched Thomas the Tank Engine. Probably watched every one of those. We had the big book for a while and stuff. This one's painted Thomas's colors, and it's sort of it's sort of like Thomas, and this would be like a wheel and the connecting rods and the piston. It's double acting piston.
So air comes in back the port over here.
Yep.
Into the steam chest.
This is the valve.
The valve.
And it doesn't exactly have a steam chest.
Okay, so into the valve.
This is a spool valve, and this rod operates it. And when it's at this end, it connects up this exhaust port, which is just this little hole here.
Okay.
And then when it goes to this end, it hooks up this exhaust port. And while it's not hooked up to an exhaust port, it's hooked up to an inlet from the air, which I run on air. But it's basically a steam engine. It could run on steam.
Okay. Now talk to me a little about how you're actuating the valve here, because I see that there's an arm, there's a, hold it up so I can see. This arm comes up to a 90-degree arm. It's almost like a half a bell crank, and is it this in a phase, out of a phase? What's going on there?
Yeah, well, the valve has to be 90 degrees out of phase with the piston, So in order to do that, this is half a bell crank. If you had another one over here, it'd be the whole bell crank. But anyway, that just makes sure that as this same eccentric here that's used for the connecting rod is moving the valve at the right phase with the piston. It's kind of a novel way to do it. I haven't really seen that used in trains. Most of them have a more complicated mechanism where they can control that,
Okay.
control the timing. But this just fixed timing.
For a demonstrator engine, for a table engine, it
Well,
works.
it runs nice. It's a nice little motor.
Nice little piece of engineering here. Nice little piece of engineering here. This is this all aluminum, or what is this, Phil?
No, actually, this framework is made out of phenolic
Okay.
board, and the most of everything else is aluminum except for the moving parts here. They're steel. And there's some brass bearings or bushings inside each of these joints, and yeah, it ought to run for a long time. I guess.
Yeah, you can see he drilled it to counterweight it.
That's a little bit heavy to one point there. That should be and to help the pistons, but I just.
Yeah. So that's a nice little design you've got going there. That's really neat. Just built as a demonstrator to amuse yourself and your son, and
I took the drawings and I moved them into the paint program, and I made them the colors, and then I cut them out basically and put them in a program I made to do animations. It knows how to connect connecting rods and pistons and push rods and stuff
Okay.
like that. Anyway, I've got an animation of how this works. It's a cross section of the valve and the piston, and shows the direction of the air through it and the exhaust and
okay.
all that.
Is that's on a website you have, right, Phil?
Yeah, but I can get you a copy of that, and we can add it to your collection if you want.
All right. All right. I'll get a copy of the animation, and we'll add that at some point in time to one of these videos we're doing. I just, this is absolutely nice work for someone that's not a master machinist.
I'm far from that.
For someone that's not a master machinist, when I look at these, I see just beautiful craftsmanship and a lot of attention to detail. That a little bit of attention to detail goes a long way towards executing a really nice presentation.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah. Well, there's a difference between making it work and making it work looking good, I guess.
I think you crossed that threshold if they both look good as well as work good. Not everything has to be beautiful, elegant, but these are beautiful, elegant in my opinion. They're very nice.
Yeah, this one's pretty old. My son just graduated college, so I made that when he was pretty small.
Been around a couple of years.
Yeah.
Been around a couple of years. Phil, thank you for coming by the shop.
Sure.
This has been In the Shop. Thanks for watching.